Hello everyone! After making a list of the best new Roguevania games before, now it's time to rank the best Roguevania games of all time, updated with the latest titles. But before that...
Wait. Before we go into the list, I want to introduce you guys to the best platform where you can get games for insanely cheap price, Instant Gaming.
Huh?
In Instant Gaming, there are a lot of games with amazing discount. Seriously, brother, just look at this! There are a ton of games at 90% off, and you can even get a game for just $1. Freaking $1, bro! You guys probably think this is too good to be true, huh? Well, don't worry. Instant Gaming is totally legit, super fast, and their support is available 24/7. All you have to do is click my link in the description below, start search for your favorite games, and use the activation key on your chosen platform. By using my link, you are not only saving a lot of money, but also supporting my channel. Thanks for checking it out, now let's get back into the list.
Rising Hell is a Roguevania where you climb up instead of the usual side-scrolling or dungeon crawling. You play as a demon warrior trying to escape from hell, slashing through monsters, avoiding traps, and fighting massive bosses. What really makes Rising Hell stand out is the gameplay. It's fast, fun, and full of style. You start with one character, Arok, a brutal melee fighter, but soon you unlock more, like Zelos, a ranged attacker, and Sidna, who plays like a ghost ninja. Every run gives you different paths, different challenges, and new rewards. And even though the game only has 4 chapters, it stays fresh thanks to unlockable relics, talents, and random gear drops. GetsuFumaDen Undying Moon was originally launched in 1987 on the Famicom and stayed in Japan, mostly forgotten over time. Now Konami has brought it back as a Roguevania with a gameplay similar to Dead Cells. What makes this game stand out though is the absolutely gorgeous art style. It looks like a Japanese painting brought to life, filled with demons and underworld landscapes. It's the kind of game where you'll pause just to admire how everything looks. Even when it gets a little busy on screen, the visuals are a treat. Nightmare. The Lunatic is a Roguevania that takes ideas from games like Dead Cells but keeps things simpler and more beginner-friendly. One of the coolest parts of the game is how it handles weapons. You always have 3 equipped, and switching between them gives you bonuses. At first I thought managing 3 weapons would be too much, but they all feel useful in their own way. There are also special effects that happen when you switch weapons, which makes swapping feel satisfying and worth doing. Overall, it's a fun system that adds a lot of depth without being confusing. You ever play a Roguevania where you spend more time dodging than attacking? Yeah, that's TOKOYO the Tower of Perpetuity, and it's actually pretty awesome. In TOKOYO, you pick from 5 different characters, like a proud fox spirit or even a cleaning robot. Each one plays a little differently, but here's the big thing. Your main attack is on a timer. You can only use your special ability every 30 seconds, so most of the time you're just dodging. That means you've got to time your attacks right, avoid damage, and stay sharp. It feels kind of like if Celeste had boss fights and mixed in Rogue Legacy's Don't Die energy. Source of Madness is a Roguevania that takes inspiration from H.P. Lovecraft with lots of dark themes and weird creatures. The gameplay is where it starts to show some promise. Each run gives you a new character with slightly different stats, and as you play, you unlock upgrades, skill trees, and better classes. The cool part is that you can mix different types of attacks, like combining a quick slash with a giant fireball, but after a few runs, the weapons and gear start to feel a little too familiar, and you'll probably end up sticking to the playstyle you like most instead of adapting each time. If you've ever wondered what a true mix of Metroid and Roguelike feels like, Weapon Hacker might be the closest you'll get. The world is made of randomized rooms, and every time you play, the map is different. You're on a mission to clear out an infected space station by blasting your way through enemies, collecting gear, and unlocking upgrades. The layout, upgrades, and room design all feel very Metroid, which makes exploring super fun. The game may look simple, and while it might not be a masterpiece, it's still really good. And honestly, it deserves way more attention than it's getting. Ghost 1.0 is a Roguevania game where you play as Ghost, a stealthy agent hired by two hackers to break into a massive tech company called Nakamura Corporation and steal secret data. At its core, the game plays like an old-school Metroid game. You run through tight corridors, blast robots, dodge traps, and slowly unlock more tools and weapons. The shooting feels good, especially with a mouse and keyboard, and Ghost can use all kinds of fun gear, from grenade launchers to energy blasts. You also get to use her special ability to leave her body and possess enemy robots, which adds a fun little twist. So you've heard of Dead Cell's return to Castlevania? Yeah, well, get ready for Dead Cell's return to Monka. Dunjungle is seriously a blast to play. Right from the start, the colorful art, catchy music, and super smooth gameplay pull you in. Now sure, Dunjungle doesn't have as much variety as Dead Cells, at least not yet, but to be fair, Dead Cells has been around for years with tons of updates and DLC. What Dunjungle does instead is focus on fewer weapons, but lets you upgrade and tweak them with different effects. And since the game is still in early access, it has plenty of room to get even better. If you're into sci-fi anime like Gantz or Evangelion and love the idea of cool girls in high-tech exosuits, Metal Unit might be your thing. In this game, you play as Joanna, a pilot in a powerful M-suit, sent on a mission to stop her rogue sister. The story has a few interesting twists, but it can be hard to follow. But of course, what makes Metal Unit shine is the gameplay. It's a Roguevania at heart, but the game gives you the tools to feel strong early on, if you get lucky with your gear. There are tons of weapons to find, and you can even change the mech you use, each with its own abilities. It's like the devs gave you a fast, powerful car, but you still have to know how to drive it. Tower Hunter Erza's Trial is a Roguevania game and a prequel to Frontier Hunter. If you've never played Frontier Hunter, it's actually a good idea to start there. That game offers a deeper Metroidvania experience. But if you enjoy the fast combat and stylish gameplay, Erza's Trial is a great follow-up. In this game, you play as a younger Erza, full of energy, charm, and funny expressions that help lighten the mood. The combat is stylish, fast, and easy to enjoy even if you're new to the genre. On top of that, the music is catchy too, keeping the vibe fun even when the action gets intense. Ufouria 2 says it's a sequel to the classic Metroidvania game Ufouria, but it's actually a bit different. Instead of exploring one big world like in a normal Metroidvania, this game has you replaying short levels, collecting coins, and buying upgrades to move forward. It feels more like a Roguevania. This change was probably because of a smaller budget, but it gives the game a very different style. Even with that change, Ufouria 2 is still a lot of fun. The levels are quick to play, the art looks great, and the characters are full of charm. Patch Quest is a monster-taming Roguevania. The core gameplay is a cool mix of roguelike exploration, Metroidvania-style shortcuts, and creature collecting that feels a bit like Pokemon. It all blends together in a really fresh way. In this game, you will explore a big maze-like map. Every time you start a run, you launch out from the center, and if you die, that's exactly where you go back to. The map itself is made of preset paths, but the enemies and the hazards along the way change every time, so even though the layout stays the same, every run feels a little different, and that randomness helps keep things from getting stale. Little Noah originally came out in 2015 as a mobile game. It was a town builder and strategy game by Cygames. Not many people noticed it, especially in the West. It was shut down in 2019. But instead of letting it disappear, Cygames brought it back. This time as a Roguevania. Same characters, art, and music, but totally new gameplay. And surprisingly, it works. The game is a simple, light-hearted story with familiar themes: friendship, destiny, and growth. Nothing groundbreaking, but charming enough. And there's a tease at the end for a possible sequel. Oblivion Override is a fast-paced Roguevania that really stands out in the crowd. Like most Roguevanias, this game focuses mainly on the action. The story's not a big deal, but the idea of playing as a virus trying to influence the world is pretty cool. The game is tough, but fair. You've got a wide variety of weapons that all play differently and let you create your own combos. Even better, you can switch between different mechs. Each one has its own special abilities and playstyle. That means you can mix things up each run and try new strategies. And just looks at it, the game looks awesome. Trinity Fusion is a fast, action-packed Roguevania that throws you into a broken multiverse, and it doesn't hold your hand. You play as Maya, a warrior who can connect with alternate versions of herself from different universes. Each version has its own style. There's Altara, who uses magic and ranged spells, there's Kara, who fights with guns and more precise attacks, and there's Naira, who is all about close-range melee, but with limited movement. What's cool is that you can fuse these versions together mid-run to combine their powers. Summum Aeterna is the kind of game that hits hard, both in combat and in challenge. And for fans of roguelites and Metroidvanias, that might be exactly what you're looking for. It's a prequel to Aeterna Noctis, but this time it leans more into that Dead Cells style formula. Fast-paced action, tough enemies, and a run-based structure that'll keep you coming back for more, even after dying dozens of times. One of the coolest things this game does is with its seed system. Before you start a run, you plant a seed that creates the world you'll explore. Each seed is different, with unique biomes, modifiers, and enemy tweaks. ScourgeBringer is a fast and intense Roguevania that feels like chaos in the best way possible. The combat is all about speed, precision, and movement. You can slash enemies in midair to stay airborne, wall jump, dash, and even knock enemies into each other. Do enough damage, and you unlock powerful ranged attacks, like screen-shaking lasers and grenade launchers. The more aggressive you play, the better it feels. But don't just button mash, that'll get you hurt fast. Every bit of health matters. You'll need to plan your fights, prioritize which enemies to take down first, and manage your resources wisely. Dark Devotion plays a bit like Dark Souls, but with a twist. It's not your usual Souls-like though, this one blends in some roguelike elements. But let's clear up the roguelike part. The levels aren't randomly generated like most roguelikes. Instead, the game uses a run-based structure, meaning the more you play, the more you unlock. New gear, new abilities, and better chances next time. But early on, yeah, it's brutal. You start off weak, and enemies hit hard. So you need to be patient, take your time, and learn the systems if you want to make real progress. A robot named Fight is another Super Metroid if it were a roguelite. The game throws you into a world where you run from room to room, pick up new weapons and powers, and fight off tons of weird enemies. Just like Binding of Isaac, this game has permadeath. That means every time you die, you start over. But here's the twist. As you play, you unlock new areas and weapons that might show up in future runs. You never quite know what you'll get, and that keeps things fresh. Sundered Eldritch Edition is one of those games that feels like controlled chaos in the best way possible. This game is a true Roguevania, which basically means you'll be doing a lot of exploring, fighting, and dying, but getting stronger every time. Some rooms in the game are fixed, others randomly change every time you die. It keeps things fresh, but also a little confusing when you're backtracking through areas that look the same. And let's not forget how this game looks. Sundered is absolutely gorgeous. The hand-drawn art, the animations, the dark, eerie world, it all fits the cosmic horror vibe perfectly.
It won't let me leave. Endless worlds surround me.
Rogue Legacy is a fast, funny, and brutally fun Roguevania where death isn't the end. It's just the start of your next bloodline. Every time you die, your next run is handled by your child. Yep, you pick one of your character's 3 kids, and each one comes with their own class and quirks. One might be super short, one might be colorblind, one might fart every time they jump. Yes, really, these traits aren't just for laughs, they actually affect how you play. Have a Nice Death is a Roguevania that oozes with style. In this game, you play as Death himself, the CEO of Death Inc., and things at the office are out of control. Your underlings, who were supposed to make your job easier, are slacking off and causing chaos across departments. So what do? You grab your scythe and fight your way through each department, dealing out deadly HR corrections, the violent kind. This game is gorgeous. The animation is buttery smooth, and the art style is grim and creepy, but in a fun cartoon way. Seriously, Have a Nice Death is a masterclass in presentation.
Where you play as CEO of Death Incorporated, Death himself.
Vagante might look like just another pixel art Roguevania, but don't be fooled. It's full of surprises. You start off with nothing but a sword, a torch, and hope. Then the game throws you into dark, dangerous caves full of traps, monsters, and loot. One wrong step and you're falling onto spikes, or getting sniped by a hidden arrow trap. And yet, somehow you're still smiling. It's punishing, sure, but never unfair. Even the traps feel like they're in on the joke. Rogue Legacy 2 is a fast-paced Roguevania with a cool twist. Just like the first game, every time you die, your next character is your child, literally. Each kid has their own class, like a ninja-style assassin, a samurai-like Ronin, or even a chef who heals with a frying pan. You never know what kind of weird and wonderful hero you'll get, and that makes it so fun to talk about with friends. And now there's even more Metroidvania-style progression. You'll find permanent upgrades like double jumps and dashes that help you unlock new areas. It's deeper, smoother, and way more fun than the original. You ever play a game so good, you tell yourself, just one more run, then suddenly it's midnight and you're still at it? Yeah, Dead Cells is that kind of game. Dead Cells is literally the best Roguevania ever. The controls are tight and the weapons feel unique. Some blades do crits when you dodge, others hit harder when you're low on health, some gear summons little minions, poisons enemies, or drops grenades. It's fast, it's fluid, and just when you think you're unstoppable, the game humbles you with one wrong move. The moment you start a new run, you will get hooked all over again. That's all for today's list. Subscribe and like for more new exciting roguelike or Metroidvania games. That's it, and see you next time.